Hey there, and welcome to Storytime. So, someone suggested a while ago that I should do childhood memories. I can't remember the name and I can't find the comment right now, but yeah, someone suggested childhood memories, so I thought a little bit about my childhood. And the funny thing is, I got a visit from my big brother today, so yeah, why not? It's kind of fitting for this day. So, yeah, childhood memories. It's kind of, weird to think about my childhood, but, we all have a childhood, and I had a childhood, and my childhood was kind of, good. It was okay. It wasn't the perfect childhood. It wasn't the worst childhood you could have. There could be so much worse things, but it was just a regular good childhood. My parents they weren't rich. They were, a middle class family, if you want to call it like that, and I always had food, clothes, and all that stuff. And we sometimes went on little vacations, like going to how they called, those parks with the roller coasters and stuff like that. I have no idea how they're called, but yeah, we sometimes went there. It was a good time, and the only bad thing maybe was that my parents were really distant. They were kind of cold. I basically never saw my father when I was younger. He used to work all the time. He had a regular 8 hours job, and after that, he would go and do other, jobs to have just a little bit more money because when he grew up, he was one of 9 children, and because of that, they basically had nothing at home. Christmas didn't exist for them, and my father just wanted us to have a better childhood and a better home. So we had a house, and as I said, everything was kind of fine. We always had food, and we had 2 cars. I think that was kind of a big deal back then. 2 cars, damn. But yeah, so everything was kind of good. Everything was going normal. And the first thing I remember about my childhood, I have no idea how young I was, but I was maybe, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, somewhere around that corner. I was barely able to walk. I remember that. And I don't know why I remember this particular thing, but it's the only thing that I remember about this time that kind of stuck out. I remember my brother had my big brother. He's 14 years older than me, so he had his own room in the basement, and he's big into music. He still does music. He has his own band and stuff like that. And he had those huge ass speakers in his basement to listen to cool music and stuff like that. He was a big fan of Queen back in the day, so he used to listen to them, but whatever. So yeah, he had these huge ass speakers, and one of them had a little bug. It didn't work properly, so he laid on the ground and he put it open, or he took it up, however you call that. He opened it up and he started repairing it for whatever reason. And I was in the basement this evening or this afternoon. I have no idea what time it was. And I remember he was going out, and I thought, come on, I want to help my big brother. I want to repair that thing. So I wobbled over there. I sat down in front of the speaker. I took a screwdriver and I just jammed that thing into the box. I don't know. I punched it into the box the whole time, and the membrane went, of course, was broken. And I think I even damaged the magnet that was in there. I totally screwed that thing up. It was totally fucked after that. It wasn't usable anymore, so I wrecked that speaker. And I remember my brother was kind of mad at me, but I was young. I didn't know what I had done. I didn't understand why he was mad at me, or I just couldn't understand. I couldn't process it at the time. For me, I just felt like I helped him. Come on, I repaired that thing. I used the screwdriver, so I had to have it repaired. Come on. Good times, good times. And I had 2 friends when I was younger. One of them, that's actually a funny thing. His last name was actually the German word for spitter, just with 1 letter it changed. And he was a spitter all the time. He spitted the whole day. Whenever you saw him, he was spitting on the ground. I have no idea why, but he did that all the freaking time. And we always made fun of that because he just couldn't stop it. We told him if he could stop for 5 minutes, we would give him 5. It wasn't euro back in the day, but I would just go with euro. We'd give him €5 if he didn't do it for 5 minutes, and he just couldn't do it. After 2 minutes, he just started spitting again. I have no idea why, but he just did it all the freaking time. He had a bigger brother, and he did that too. And the other one, he wasn't the brightest child. He was kind of, I don't want to say stupid or dumb, but he wasn't a very bright child. But I kind of liked him, and he was kind of, I was the brains, he was the muscle. It was kind of like that. I was a very small and skinny child. I have no idea why, but I was very small until I hit puberty, and he was one head bigger than me. He was the same age, and he had muscle. He was very athletic and stuff like that. So I don't know why he even hung out with me, but he was kind of my protector. If someone came close to me and wanted to, fuck me up, he would just come by and say, oh, come on, if you want to mess with me, you gotta mess with me. If mess with him, you gotta mess with me. And they would always back up. It was just, back down, I think it's called. And, he was my protector kind of thing, and I really liked the guy. It was a shame when we kind of split up. There was some family crisis involved with him. And the other guy, the spitter guy, I think he moved away when I was about 8 or something like that. I think it was about 8 or 10, somewhere around that corner. He moved away around that time because his mother actually committed suicide, and he was living with his mother. His parents were divorced, so yeah, his mother committed suicide. He actually found her, and I think he never got over the trauma. I don't know what happened to the guy, but yeah, he moved away to his father, and I never heard of him again. So yeah, and as I said with the other guy, there was a family crisis between our two families, so yeah, we had to, break up the relationship too, and that was kind of hard for me. So I only was left with one friend. He wasn't a very good friend at that time, but now he's kind of my best friend. I don't know, I know him for ever since I was born, basically. So I know him for 27 years. So it's my oldest friend, my best friend, and we had some great times. He has this disease. How is it called? ADH? I have no idea how it's called in English, but this disease where you just can't sit still and you have to talk all the time and blubble and you can't concentrate. He can be annoying at sometimes, but he's a great guy. And yeah, more about my childhood. I was kind of a quiet child. I was more for myself. I would go into the woods and have fun. I would live in some kind of fantasy world, and I had a huge imagination. But I would be sporty or some sort of. I don't know. I would play football, soccer, how you call it. I would even play a little bit of rugby. The funny thing about my rugby experience is, yeah, I played rugby. I actually played rugby. And yeah, I think the 5th time when I played rugby, I injured my shoulder. But for my family, as I said, we're kind of a distant family, so you don't talk about your weaknesses. I said that in another, episode before. So yeah, when I injured my shoulder, I just didn't tell them at all. And, even now, these days, 20 years later, okay, 20 is a little bit too much, but 15 years later, for example, I still have problems with my shoulder. It still hurts when I have to, use things. I went to the doctor and he said that the injury that I got back then, it never really healed up. So yeah, and there is no way to cure it completely. So I messed up my shoulder just by being stupid, a stupid kid, but whatever. We do that. And when I discovered this tumor thing in my leg, I couldn't do sports that much, but I was very athletic back in the day. I really miss those times. But yeah, what's there more about my childhood? I don't think there was that much more. My memory about my childhood is just very fuzzy. I just remember being outside very often, reading loads of books. I really enjoyed books. And I don't know, maybe my first computer when I was 12 to 13, or whoa, I got a Game Boy back in the day. I was one of the first kids in the whole neighborhood, in my whole school, to get a Game Boy. And bam, that thing rocked. I remember playing games like Tetris for hours and hours. And I was a hero in school, I went to school and I had my Game Boy with me, and everyone was jealous. That was just like, oh, that was so awesome. You can't probably remember that today because everyone has an iPhone or an iPad or whatever device. But back in the day, if you had a Game Boy, you were the king of the schoolyard. And that's how I felt back then. It was amazing. And that device, if you play Call of Duty, for example, that game has better graphics, better mechanics, basically, and you can do so much more stuff. But if you play that for 1 hour, it kind of gets like, meh. But if you play Tetris, that game was so basic, There was nothing special about that game. But you could play it for 8 hours and it would still be fun. Amazing. They don't do games like this anymore. It's just, yeah, good times, good times. I was a nerd back then, I guess. Oh yeah, oh my god, there's one more memory and then I will end this video. It's already, oh my god, 10.5 minutes. And the thing was, I have no idea how you call it, but if you had those funny eyes where you just look at your nose all the time, I have no idea how you call that. But if you did that with your eyes, so if you had bad eyesight, and you will start doing that with your eyes, and everyone will know, okay, he got bad eyesight, so we got to call him to a doctor to an eye doctor, however you call them, and whatever. I didn't do that. I just got a very, very bad eyesight, and I started walking into walls all the time, or into doorways. It was so ridiculous. I even got a concussion from that. And after I got the kind of serious concussion, my parents took me to the doctor, and he just found out that I barely couldn't see anything at all. So I got glasses, and after that everything was fine. I never ran into a wall again on purpose. I sometimes hit walls, but that's a completely different story. Yeah, good times, as I said. So yeah, those were some of my childhood memories. Maybe I will come up with more. I have no idea. As I said, it's kind of a fuzzy thing. I can't remember my childhood that much, and I'm wondering why. Maybe I'm getting old and my memory is getting bad. But whatever. So yeah, if you enjoyed this little, way into my childhood, just let me know with a comment and a like. And I'm sorry that this video was so freaking long, 12 minutes. I'm really sorry. But yeah, that was this week's episode of Storytime. As I said, I hope you enjoyed it. And I should really, oh my god, 12 minutes. I can't believe it. 12 minutes talking. Oh, and I did this in one take, just to let you know. I didn't cut anything out, even when I didn't get the words right. I didn't cut anything out. So 12 minutes talking without a break. And I'm out of breath. That was it. I'm iLostLink, signing out.